You're the one everyone calls when things fall apart. You solve the crisis, you calm the panic, and you make sure everyone else is okay. You are the architect of your family's stability. But have you ever wondered why you can't seem to stop? Why even when you're utterly exhausted, the thought of letting things fail feels like a personal failure? You aren't just helpful. There is a specific psychological reason you became the family fixer. And it's likely a survival mechanism you learned long before you were an adult. Today, we're decoding why you can't stop fixing everyone else and the hidden emotional cost it's taking on your life. Let's be clear about what being a fixer actually is. It's not about being a supportive sibling or a caring child. It's a role you were often assigned by necessity. Maybe there was a parent who struggled with their own emotions, or perhaps a sudden trauma that left a void. You stepped into that void. You started managing budgets, mediating arguments between adults, or soothing your parents when they were overwhelmed. You became the emotional thermostat for the entire house. Developmental psychologists call this parentification. It occurs when a child's nervous system determines that their safety, physical or emotional, depends entirely on the stability of the family unit. Think about it. If the family is calm, you are safe. If the family is in chaos, you are at risk. Therefore, you became a master of predicting needs before they were even spoken. Your brain didn't just learn how to help, it learned hyper-vigilance. You became a master at reading micro-expressions and tone of voice. This created a high-functioning, adult-like persona. But it came at a high price. You never developed the ability to prioritize your own internal state, because your internal state was always secondary to the mission of keeping everyone else afloat. You might think this makes you a hero, but here is the trap. The fixer rarely feels seen because you always present yourself as the competent one, the one who can handle anything. Your family stops asking, "How are you?" and only asks, "Can you help me with this?" You've unintentionally trained the people around you to see you as a resource rather than a person. This leads to a profound sense of isolation. You're surrounded by people who rely on you, yet you feel deeply alone because the one thing you crave, someone to carry your weight, is something you've conditioned your family to never expect. Why is it so hard to stop? Why can't you just say no? It goes back to guilt-induced responsibility. You've internalized a belief that if you aren't fixing, you are failing. When you attempt to set a boundary, your nervous system triggers a spike of anxiety. This is your body telling you that you are violating a rule that kept you safe during your formative years. If I stop fixing, everything falls apart, and I will be blamed. It feels selfish to rest. It feels dangerous to let someone else struggle. But what you're actually doing is preventing them from developing their own resilience, and you're denying yourself the right to your own life. Now, here's the good news. This trait isn't a permanent flaw. It is a powerful set of skills: strategic empathy, crisis management, and emotional intelligence that were just applied to the wrong target. You've been using these tools to manage people who didn't necessarily earn that labor. How do you pivot this for personal growth? First, redirect your competency. You have a unique ability to see the root cause of a problem. Apply this to your own personal growth. Use that same analytic brain to map out your own goals and life trajectory. Second, professional success. This is your greatest career asset. In the workplace, fixers become exceptional project managers, crisis negotiators, and high-level strategists. The difference is that in a professional environment, your labor is acknowledged, boundary-defined, and compensated. You're moving from an emotional servant to a professional problem solver. Being a fixer meant you survived. It meant you had the strength to hold things together when no one else could. But growth isn't about being strong forever. It's about knowing when to put the burden down. When you stop fixing everyone, you're not abandoning them. You're inviting them to step into their own adulthood. And more importantly, you're finally giving yourself the space to be human, not a machine, not a hero, just you. You've spent your life fixing the world around you. Maybe it's time to take that same energy and start building a world that is designed for your own happiness. If this resonated with you, if you recognize the fixer in your own history, know that you are not broken. You're just highly capable, and it's time to be capable for yourself. Subscribe for more deep dives into the psychology that shapes us. And if you're ready to stop carrying everyone else's weight, leave a comment below. What's one boundary you're going to set this week? I'll see you in the next one.